The iPad mini is set to receive one of the biggest upgrades ever, and that's an OLED display. And if Apple gets this right, this could basically be an iPad Pro mini. So get your snacks ready and let's dive in all the changes because there's way more than just the OLED screen. But before that, Paperlike is the perfect gift for this holiday season to protect your old and your new iPad displays, while also feeling like real paper. You see, Paperlike feels incredible for drawing apps like Procreate, and even if you're not an artist, the reduction in fingerprints and reflections is so nice to have, especially with its soft feel that keeps your display scratch-free. So check out Paperlike by using the links below. Okay, so why is OLED such a big deal? Well, OLED screens have several advantages, the main one being perfect contrast and perfect blacks, as OLED can offer pixel level brightness control. And of course, OLED also has a greater power efficiency, meaning that we could see an even longer battery life. Now, this won't be a tandem OLED screen like the iPad Pro uses, which basically means 2 layers of OLED stacked on top of each other for much better brightness. Instead, it will be a simple 1-layer OLED, possibly manufactured by Samsung. But don't get me wrong, this would still be a huge upgrade from the basic LCD screen that we've had in all the previous iPad minis, making this new iPad mini miles better for consuming content. Although, this is where the good news stops, because rumors state that this new OLED screen will stay at 60 Hz and not get 120 like the standard iPhones received with the iPhone 17. Now, that is quite disappointing, as I was hoping for promotion, but yeah, what do you guys think? Would you upgrade to an OLED iPad mini, even if it stayed at 60, or would you wait maybe a couple more years until we get 120 as well? We may, however, see an increase in display size, going up from 8.3 inches to 8.5 or even 8.7. Now, we don't know if this will be made possible by keeping the same size and reducing the bezel thickness, or if the entire iPad mini will get a bit larger in size. I'm also thinking that Apple may make this new iPad mini even thinner, as the OLED display itself is thinner when compared to a traditional LCD. It's not bad right now at 6.3mm, but if Apple shaves off another millimeter or so, it could actually match the iPad Pro, and that would feel fantastic to use, especially in such a small form factor. So when are we expected to see this new iPad mini? Well, Apple is preparing for some major screen updates to the MacBook Pro, the iPad mini, and the iPad Air, with plans to bring higher-end OLED displays to all 3 of them. According to Mark Gurman, the iPad mini is expected to be the first one to get the upgrade, with an OLED model potentially arriving as soon as next year alongside the OLED M6 MacBook Pro, video on that here. Instant Digital mentions on Weibo that it won't be coming any sooner than Q3 2026, so probably around September. But what about the next gen iPad Air? When would that receive an OLED screen? Well, the next Air is likely to come this spring with the M4 chip and will continue to use an LCD display, but Apple is already planning to ship the model to OLED in the next generation. Again, this is all part of Apple's move to OLED across the entire lineup, giving users a stronger incentive to upgrade. And while the Mac and the iPad sales are expected to grow this year, they are still below the pandemic-era highs of 2021 and 2022. But what about performance? Well, according to some leaked code, it will have the identifier J510 and J511, and it will probably still won't use an M-series chip but the A19 Pro instead. And that's great news because this chip is very capable, especially for iOS and iPadOS, as it has extremely good single-core performance, similar or even better than the M4 chip. So this iPad will definitely feel extremely snappy, if only it had 120 Hz. The iPhone 17 Pro Max that I've been daily driving for a couple of months now has been almost flawless in terms of performance, so I'm expecting the iPad mini to be the same. Also, fun fact, the iPad mini was actually the first ever non-Pro Apple device to use a Pro Series chip, and that was the A17 Pro. So going to the A19 Pro seems like a likely upgrade path. Now, I do expect this to be the mid-tier A19 Pro found in the iPhone Air with 1 less GPU core, but that's still almost as fast as the full unbinned chip. And of course, with the A19 Pro, you'll be able to play the latest AAA titles, like Red Dead Redemption on the iPad mini with ease that just launched, which should look amazing on that new OLED screen. So what about a battery life? Well, iPads have always been rated for 10 hours, so I don't think this is gonna change. However, even though my M5 13-inch iPad Pro is also rated for 10 hours, from my testing I'm getting about 20% more than what I get with the Mini. So perhaps with a newer and more power-efficient OLED screen, the new Mini could last as long as the new iPad Pros. That would be another huge upgrade, but you know what else would be a huge upgrade? Grabbing a fresh new wallpaper from our app, Wallpapers. We've got 1x1 8K resolution wallpapers, and each of them has been carefully crafted by our designer. And as you can see, they just look amazing. And the best part, you can download the first wallpaper from each pack completely free in full 8K, and with no ads either. So check out Wallpapers for iOS and Android for free. So what about any special features that this new iPad mini may come with? Well, according to Mark Gurman, Apple is reportedly testing a redesigned casing for the new mini, which could make it water resistant. This would be the first iPad to be water resistant in that case, and that does make a lot of sense, since these minis are used everywhere, even by captains out at sea for navigation or airplane pilots. And since it's so much more portable than an 11-inch iPad, it just makes sense for it to be water resistant, since you're more likely to take it everywhere you go. In fact, if they do make it water resistant, it could literally be a Kindle Paperwhite replacement for a lot of people, which, by the way, is water resistant. And that's the one that I usually take with me when I'm at the pool and I want to do some reading on a larger display. Another cool thing that Apple is reportedly testing is a new speaker system that uses vibration-based tech, allowing them to remove traditional speaker holes where water could get in. Unlike the iPhone, which keeps the holes and protects them with gaskets and adhesives, this design would actually block water by eliminating the openings entirely. Although I'm not entirely sure how good the sound quality would actually be in that case, or if it's just gonna sound very muffled. And I'm also expecting Apple to introduce the C1X or even the new C2 modem for the cellular version of this new iPad mini. I've been using cellular on the M5 iPad Pro and I just love it. Being able to instantly turn on my iPad and be instantly connected to a network is just awesome. It saves me battery life on my iPhone. The connectivity is more reliable, and I'm also getting faster speeds. What else? The camera, we haven't really had any reports on this, but I'm personally thinking it will keep the same camera system as on the Mini 6 and the Mini 7, including the center stage front camera. Although we could see an upgrade to the front camera to the new 18 megapixel square sensor that the iPhone 17 series is using. That'll be a really nice upgrade, as the current 12 megapixel one is a bit soft and it does lack detail. All in all, with a faster chip, more RAM, and a new OLED display, possibly even an Apple-made modem, the price is sadly expected to go up. According to Mark Gurman, it would go up by $100. That's not great, because I think the Mini is already too expensive. It starts at $499 right now, and if Apple were to bump it to $599, it would be the same price as the iPad Air, which has an M chip and it's much larger. So that would feel weird unless Apple increases the iPad Air's price as well. So what do you guys think? Would you pay $600 for a 60Hz OLED iPad Mini? Or would you wait a couple more years for a 120Hz version? Let me know down below. I think that at the end of the day, even for a price of $600, this new iPad mini would be a very good alternative to the upcoming iPhone Fold that's expected to cost over $2,000. Sure, it won't fold, but the form factor and the screen size is likely to be around the same. The iPad mini would also have an OLED screen, just like the iPhone Fold, so if you're looking for that Kindle-like sized iPad for reading, consuming content, and even mobile gaming, I think that this new iPad mini, especially if it's water resistant, will sell extremely well. But what do you guys think? Will you be picking one up? Let me know down below, and also give this video a like if you have enjoyed it. It does help the algorithm. Check out our app Wallpapers for some awesome designs for any of your devices. I'm Daniel, this is Zoneoftech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zoneoftech, signing out. Cheers.